Ms. Garcia is one of the teachers. She was hoping at Seguin Elementary this summer.
I'm gonna go through some of my favorite ones that I did with the kids. What I tried to do was I tried to connect the lesson to the hands-on activity. So like for this week, it was making ice cream. So the math lesson was measurements, since we were gonna use measurements for the ice cream. So I set it up for the math lesson, and I could, like, if I click on the gallon man, it takes me to the Kahoot game that I created. So everything's already set up in each slide. And like the video, we did our notes with the gallon man video. And this is where we did our notes and understanding of the measurement. And then once we did the lesson, I would do the Kahoot game with them to see if they understood. So everything is linked and everything is here. This way I don't have to open and close so many pages.
Okay.
And then like this is the getting ready for the activity. And I tried to make everything connect so that this way it was more interesting for them. So we would go through and do, make it more interesting for them. And then we would do, of course, the hands-on together. And we're working on creating a collage of all the pictures from everything that they did this summer. And then I would add, like, I took there's a star passage that connects to the ice cream. So I just put it in as a little plus for them so they could learn the history of ice cream as well. So we discussed that, and because as we were making the ice cream, they're learning like its work. And in the past, they actually had to run into the mountains to get the ice. And I'm like, imagine if we had to do that today.
Wow.
Nobody would want ice cream. And then fun facts for them about the ice cream. But I tried to make sure that I connected the activity to the lesson of the week.
And so you're having conversation with them as you go through each of these slides, like some discussion about it?
Yes. Like we'll talk about, like there's one here where it says the strangest flavors found. So we're like, okay, well, which one would you try? And so it's just like making connections with them, because it's really hard when you're doing it online and you've never met them. Okay. Like I've never seen these kids in person. So it's just like those conversations where you build the relationship with them and you're talking and like trying to get to them this way as we're doing the lesson.
Okay.
And then they'll enjoy, and then they send me the pictures. They'll send me the pictures of them, because some of them tried to add syrup, some of them added pecan. Mm-hmm. So they really had fun with the toppings and creating their ice cream.
So how long did this lesson take from start to finish?
We did it, the way we did it was on a Monday, we would do the lesson, and then, which was about maybe an hour to an hour and 15 minutes mm-hmm. at the most. And then the hands-on took a little bit longer, which was about maybe an hour, hour 15 at the most also.
Okay.
Because it's trying to do everything through the computer and showing them, like putting the little measurement cup. So it was interesting, but we got it to work. And they really enjoyed it. And what because I was delivering to the students right now, I gave them movie meal bags, because we're going to watch a movie. And I told them that what I really liked, and I told Ms. Leal, is that a lot of the parents would help. A lot of the parents were involved in being there and wanting to see it. See like, oh, what they're doing and help them out. So I really enjoyed that part.
That's great.
And then like this one, I really enjoyed this one too, because this week our field trip was we did a virtual field trip, and I took them to an aquarium and a zoo. So I tell Ms. Leal that I'm very, like, I'll start on one thing and then I can go to a million different things. And we did my reading lesson was cause and effect, problem and solution. So we discuss and we do the cause and effect, what it is. We take our notes, and then I do a focus video, which was the Monsters Inc. video, which you click on it and it takes you to the video. And this is where we practice. Like, okay, what is the cause? What is the effect? So this was the focus.
And so then you would have them discussing it as you went along. You would pause it and or after you would discuss.
During through, I would pause and ask, and they would answer. And what I like is that they like the videos. They are like, you could see them laughing and enjoying it and understanding. Oh, well, its cause and its effect. Like, when things happened. So we talk about, just so that they can review and remember, oh, well, this is cause and effect from class. So it was a lot of discussing it and having them that initial focus. And then getting into it and doing the read aloud. So we had the Oliver and the oil spill. And this one I did because I have the book. It's one of my favorite books to teach cause and effect. And as we would go through, we would stop and we would talk about cause and effect or problems that the characters were going through in the story. And they really enjoyed the story and the video. The focus video helped so that they could really see the cause, effect, or problem and solution. And I also shared with them, there's this article about a whale that dies with 100-kilogram ball of plastic trash in its stomach. So then we make real life connections. Well, how can we protect the animals? What can we do?
So you would ask a lot of questions, open-ended questions for them to have those discussions about how they felt.
Yes, and about okay, when you go to the beach, well, what do you do? And what can you do to protect the animals? And just things that they don't know exist, and now it's like an eye-opener for them. But then they also have, I'll show you at the end what they had to create.
And so on that Oliver and the oil spill, that links to a video of you reading it to them?
No, I read that one.
Oh, you read it out live?
So this one I did live.
Okay.
So I would pause and ask questions. That one was me reading live to them.
Okay.
And then I also connected I did a little bit of the real life, and I showed them the commercial for the Dawn, just so that they could see, get a different understanding of it. And so I show them, we discuss, and it's a lot of linking and showing them how everything, connects. And them seeing it works, it doesn't work. And we discussed that I had done an experiment in class, and we discussed how it does work. The Dawn soap.
And you even have a little duck there to tie it all back together.
Well, that's where all the links are. So each, and I know which one is. That's why I told Ms. Leal it's kind of hard if I tell her, because each one is something different.
Okay.
And then I have them, they're linked. So if they want to see animals in their natural habitat, they can. Just so that they can see, since we're talking about the animals and taking care of them, so that this way after the lesson, I would post it for them on the Google Classroom, and they can go back and they can see.
So would you open everything during the lesson, or you would talk about some things and then post the lesson and they could explore other things if they wanted?
For some of them, we would do it all, and then for some of them at the end, I would have for them, in this one, we would discuss, take notes, and then I had them create a flyer or a poster to help protect the animals.
Oh, cool.
So I would post that on the Google Classroom, and they would send me pictures.
Would they do it like on paper or on the screen or either or?
Most of them did it on paper.
Okay.
It was easier for them because a lot of them, they were using borrowed devices, or some of them, their internet wasn't the best also.
Yeah.
So they would revert back to the paper pencil.
Okay.
But we would
Great.
it would be like that. Like I would do the lesson, and then they would have something at the end. Or like for the ice cream one, we would talk about, okay, well, we're using the measurements right now. Where are you going to use this in real life? So their assignment was to think about where you're going to use it, and when we come back, we'll discuss their findings.
Cool.
And I even showed them the Great Pacific Garbage Patch that they did not know existed. A lot of people don't know it exists. So it leads to a lot of discussions, and they really enjoyed it. Like, they would tell their parents about it, like, come and see. So it goes from just one story about Oliver leading to
Yeah.
many discussions and many things. And it helps get them to like nonfiction, what is out there, facts, true things.
And what grade levels were you working with?
Second, third, fourth, and fifth.
And so you would have second through fifth grade in this class together?
No, I had second and third graders together, and all of the second graders were were advanced. So they were already working at the third grade level.
Okay.
And then my other group was fourth and fifth.
Okay. So could you use these same lessons, but then just tailor the conversations to the group, or did you have to? Okay.
That was what we would do, but most of them were very, very advanced. I know Miss Leal came in on one of them also, and she saw that the student was very advanced.
Okay.
So they were really good students. And then we would get ready for our virtual field trip.
But what's really cool is you could take all of this, and because you've got it all hyperlinked, you could make this into an asynchronous lesson without any synchronous live kind of feed, where they actually interact with the presentation itself because of the hyperlink, and then you have them create something as an end product. So, this is very easily adaptable to that asynchronous kind of format as well. Maybe not for the younger kids, but for the older kids that could work on their own a little bit more and work independently a little bit more. This gives them a lot of rabbit holes to go down as far as exploration of this surrounding this topic.
Mm-hmm. And I could also add I've seen some where they add the arrows, and it's pointing and it tells you click here for a story, or click here so I could also do that for them, and this way they could do it, like you said, and explore on their own.
How long would it take you to create, and I want to see what you have there, but how long would it take you to create maybe one day's worth of activity or lesson? How long would one of these take for you?
It depends on how detailed and how I guess specific and neat you want it. It could take anywhere between an hour to 2 hours.
Okay. And that's on top of designing the lesson itself building the lesson plan. Okay.
Yeah, because once like I said, I would do it based on, okay, this week is the field trip. So we're talking about animals. Okay, how can I discuss it to reading or math or any lesson? And then, okay, from there I would take off.
Okay.
And this way it could be basically something that's connected all week for them, as opposed to a new lesson Monday and then a new lesson Wednesday. It was like a week theme, basically. And then when we'd go on the field trip, it was linked. So the animals are linked to take you to the live cameras and we we got to see them. So they were actually, and they're live, so they were seeing what was happening at that exact time. They really liked it, especially
Yeah.
because, like, let's say here in this one, they were looking for, like, oh, well, what do we see? Like, what different animals can we spot?
Oh, okay.
So it was
And
really,
what are different animals doing at different times of the day?
yes.
So when you do the live cams, you can say, hey, listen, log in early morning and see what the animals are doing early in the morning, and then log in at night, and see what the animals are doing at night, or, at different times of the day. That's really fun.
Or some of them would also give you the feeding times, so you can go in on the feeding times as well.
Oh, really cool.
So they really liked it. And again, it's a lot of like conversations. Like, I think that's where you go, those connections, like in the jellyfish, we were talking about, like, oh, would you dare swim there with the jellyfish? And, there's like, oh, I'm not brave enough, or I am brave enough. And nope. And a couple of them were shy, but this is where they start coming out of their shells and you see the excitement, and I really enjoyed it. And they think, let me show you one that I gave them a challenge in another lesson, and I was like, okay, let's see who can do it. And I was impressed. Let me show you, which one was it?
It looks like as a teacher, this would be really fun too.
It is. Well, I really like the decorating, but if you notice, like, I have to change my attire also. So every day I have to make sure I change the clothes. This way it makes it more realistic for them, seeing, oh, she changed her clothes, like she's not wearing the same thing. It makes it more real for them.
Wow, so even down to that level of detail.
Yes, this way they can see it as she's changing, Let me find it.
What other kinds of questions were you asking them to get them to kind of come out of their shell and engage more in discussion?
We would do a lot of let me show you. Just because I've opened so much. I'm trying to find it.
Just that flip from presentation to discussion. I think it sounds like you do an amazing job with that, and that would be something I'd love to hear a little bit more about.
Well, like this one was really neat too, because let me show you. We did one of them was art, and this is where they come out of their shells as well, and they share with you why they chose it or what it means to them. So they each, and you get to see their characters come out.
So you just told them to you talked about pointillism and then told them to do a piece in pointillism,
Yes.
and then you asked them why they chose the pieces they did?
Yeah, they had to. It was a show and tell.
Okay.
So they showed it, and they told us. They showed us what their piece was, and again, they come out of their comfort zone, where they have to speak and they have to show their camera because they don't want to. So it goes.
Yeah.
It goes from, okay, here's the examples. Now share yours with me, and they really enjoyed it because I was doing it at the same time.
Mhm.
Oh, you did the pointillism piece live?
Yes, we would do it together. Every activity was together. So this way, like, they wouldn't feel like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, okay, I'm doing it with you as well. We can do it.
Mhm. And this is easily scalable up to a middle school level, because I know that, like, my own children who take middle school art do that pointillism activity, and they do a pointillism artwork, and so this is very easily scalable to different age levels as well.
Yes, and because everybody sees it differently. Like, let me show you my painting so you can.
Oh my gosh, look, those little fish are even moving. That's so cute.
This was mine. Can you see it? My painting.
Yeah.
And So they were all thinking that, well, it looks like lollipops, and then others were like, well, it looks like the plant that when you blow, it blows the little seeds. So then seeing like, oh, well, she's doing it with us, because I'm not a good painter, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying, or I'm experimenting with you, and they really like it. But on this lesson, I gave them a challenge. We did author's purpose, and we talked about the different, I did it the same as I did every lesson. We would do a video, we would do notes, and we would discuss, and we would do the Kahoot. But then I had a challenge for them, and their topic was hurricane. So I'm like, okay, and I would assign each student, I'm like, okay, Israel, your job is to persuade me on hurricane. And Camila, your job is to inform me, and Isaac, your job is to entertain. So now they're thinking, how do I do that? And after all these examples, and I thought they were gonna get stuck because I gave it as a challenge. And nope, they arose to it right away. My Israel, he's like, oh, well, you can make an action movie. I'm like, what do you mean, Israel? Tell me. And so he's like, well, you can pretend that a hurricane is coming and the family is trying to find shelter. And I'm like, wow, like they were able to do it. Wow. So it was pretty awesome. Like that part of like challenging them, and they would do it, rising to the being able to think of it and come up with what to do.
That is really cool.
And I thought about it, and I'm like, I wonder why I hadn't thought of that before.
How is it different when you say you hadn't thought of it? What had you not thought of before?
Well, because usually, like in my own classroom, you usually do like, let's say you do where they cut newspapers and they paste it on the persuade, inform, entertain. Like it's basically the same thing. And I'm like, well, why haven't I thought that they like picking a topic and then like, okay, go for it. Persuade me on this topic. Like it never.
Oh, cool. And you saw that this worked even better for engagement?
Yes.
Great.
They really liked it. Like I tell you, I'm like, wow, because he's right away. I'm like, they're gonna be stuck on the entertain, because usually inform is the easiest. Fact, yeah. But no, right away he's like, oh no, an action movie. I'm like, wow. And then one of the students said, for persuade, she's like, well, I can persuade you to leave your home because a hurricane is coming.
Oh, that's really good.
Yes. They were really, really, that's why I'm like, okay, are you all ready for the challenge? And they were able to. So it was pretty neat, and just, it was fun. Like I told Miss Leal and I told my Miss Sandoval, like it's adding all those details, and it's time consuming, but it's fun. And then like, okay, their discussion for the next time was where would I need it, or where would it happen? The real life connections for them.
The cat you keep seeing in all the slides, that's Miss Garcia's cat. She actually has a cat that looks like that, and she introduced him to the kids the first day. We were a little bit worried because she's not a teacher at their campus. She's actually from another campus, so they had never met her. Oh. But the parents and the kids loved her. I told her, that those kids are going to have really high expectations for their teacher next year, especially if they go virtual. Because she did an amazing job. The parents and the students really enjoyed her class.
Oh, yeah.
This is fantastic. Yeah.
Let me show you really quickly. This is what we did for yesterday and today. We're delivering, we gave them a movie meal bag. So today we're watching a movie, and they have the baggie with the popcorn, the juice, and the snack.
That's great.
So they were excited.
She told me, am I going to be done by 12:45? I have class. I said, yes, you will.
Oops. And now we're past 12:45.
No, Miss Sandoval said she would start it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
Pero no, they, and even the blue one, I did scavenger hunt. Let me show you. Let me email it to myself so you can see. Because even the parents joined in on the fun. On Monday, we did a mini lesson, and then I did a social distancing scavenger hunt. And it was really fun because even the parents joined in on the fun.
That's great.
They're collecting the stuff. And then yesterday when we were seeing the movie with my second and third graders, the moms in the background are like, what movie are we seeing? What's the movie today?
Wow. So you saw the parent engagement increase too.
Yes, and I really enjoyed that part. I think out of all of it is that the parents are really, engaged as well in helping the child. So they were able to do, it was like the eggs, the gloves, all the things that are short during this time. And you see how the parents are involved too. So it was really fun.
So you gave them a list of COVID-19 supplies that were to go find in their home. Oh, that's cute.
And a lot of the kids are like, it was funny because I'm like, I told them they could include their pets. And they're like, Miss, all my pets. I'm like, yes, whatever pet's been in the picture. And they're like, but I have a pig. I'm like, put the pig in, put the pig in. And then if you can, let me show you the other one. In the other one, you can see, if you can see it, she has her chicks and her ducks.
Oh. That is so cute.
It was fun because even like this mom right here, let me see, this one, on this bottom picture, because I could see them through the computer, the mom had the selfie stick. I'm like, you go for it.
She was all pro level.
Yeah, so it was fun, but I think, and like I said, like Ms. Yal says, I didn't know the students, I didn't know the parents, but even the parents would come on and like say hi or help. So it was really building the relationship, I think, is number one, especially if it's going to continue this way, because if not, then the child won't open up.
Yeah.
And all those conversations allowed for all of that with the activities and the discussion. So they really, really liked it.
So building that relationship, lots of discussion about what do you think, what would you do, how do you feel?
And then linking, like here the books are linked so they can have examples of different authors' purposes. And they can listen to them from the Google Classroom, like go in and click. So it is time consuming in the sense you have to, like I personally, let me show you what I have that I've built over the years. These are my reading focus links. So for every lesson, I have videos. So I already have all of this. This has been mine that I've been working on for years. Okay. So these are all videos that the kids can watch on YouTube. And then I also have my library booklet. So these are all like author's purpose books. And they're all on YouTube and they're all testable. Well, I do it and I like it a lot also because I'm very pro for like the special ed students when teachers say, well, they can't read or no, yes, they can. They can sit there and, okay, author's purpose, here you go. We're learning poetry. You can learn it through a book. You can listen to it. It's trying to get to all the kids, no matter which way you get to them. So I built it and done over years of just adding, like when we were at home teaching from home, I built I didn't have one first. I have some, but I added books for my, where is it? Social studies. So I got a whole bunch of books for them because a lot of the kids, they were stuck with the work that they were being sent. And I'm like, okay, so I'd give them a book to read, listen to, ask questions, and then they would test on it. So I built my science and my social studies books one up as well. I had a couple, but I added a lot more.
That love of learning, that's amazing.
I'm very like that. Like I said, like I'll go from we're reading just to read aloud to now we're learning about many things and like they know it. Like we talk about it, like character analysis. Like I go from we're learning character analysis, and I'll show them a video, and then we'll go to like the Boston marathon bombing, to where that dancer loses her leg and then she comes back and she dances again. Because a lot of the times they're kids. Like 2 years ago, I had a class of 20 kids. Out of 20, 12 kids came from broken homes. And recent, like divorced parents, dad left mom for sister-in-law, the girlfriend's pregnant, mom and dad don't see each other, mom and dad don't talk. So, and a lot of that is where I counsel the kids, and it's like, okay, you know, this is your character. What can we do? What can we change? We don't want to, like, it's just a lot. And that's how I do it, through my discussions and my novels and the real life connections is how I reach them. So that it can work and they can grow.
And I love how you also put that at the end of every day too, with find a way that this relates to your real world and real life.
Yep.
So you're encouraging them to apply that and see that this isn't just some random academic exercise, but this is like you're learning about the world around you. I mean, this is amazing.